A Delta surge.
Almost all of our cases are unvaccinated people.
An outbreak in our state leaves 2 dead and others hospitalized. Back in the courtroom this morning,
if you think I'm here to play around with y'all, I'm not.
The trial of a Florida man charged with murder moving into the penalty phase. And unanimous opposition from Senate Republicans.
We support S1, we support the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and the fight is not over.
As a voting rights bill fails to make its mark. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Zitlali Solache, and today is Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Surge in sight. Healthcare officials and scientists are monitoring the increase in patients, blaming the Delta variant as the culprit of a recent outbreak here in Florida. Break that left 2 dead and others injured in Manatee County. The network's Helen Acevedo has more from people who have seen a Delta surge up close.
Zitlali, Delta could soon dominate in the U.S. The COVID-19 variant has already shown up in nearly every state in the country.
We never imagined this big of an increase.
But that was before the Delta variant.
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was maybe 10% of those isolates that were sequenced. And as of last week, it appeared to be 90%.
The CEO of Cox Health, a healthcare system based in Springfield, Missouri, says they've seen a 6-fold increase in COVID-19 hospitalizations.
We're seeing younger patients, we're seeing them sicker.
He says low vaccination rates provide kindling.
Almost all of our cases are unvaccinated people.
And he says his staff is exhausted.
It's harder to know that you're risking your well-being for someone that chose not to vaccinate, that then puts both them and you at risk.
In Manatee County, Florida, 2 people are dead and 4 were hospitalized after a COVID-19 outbreak at a government office building. One person who worked in the same office did not catch the virus. That person was vaccinated. This county administrator worries the Delta variant could be to blame.
Clinical presentation gives me concern that we're dealing with a very infectious variant that is quite deadly.
And according to a new study by scientists at Helix, the Delta variant is growing faster in counties with lower vaccination rates. One concerning factor putting Delta on track to become dominant. Helen Acevedo, South Florida Media Network.
Cuba has declared itself the first Latin American country to get a COVID vaccine to stage 3 trials. The vaccine is called Abdala. It's 3 doses, and according to the island's communist government, its efficacy is over just 92%. If this is true, its effectiveness is in line with the 3 approved vaccines here in the U.S. Cuba announced early that the island would not import any vaccines from abroad. The convicted murderer who caught the nation's attention by acting as his own lawyer enters the sentencing phase of his trial today.
I did kill Kenyatta Barron. But I want you to tell it like it is.
Earlier this week in a Tampa courtroom, Ronnie O'Neill was found guilty of first-degree murder. He killed his girlfriend Kenyatta Barron and their 9-year-old daughter, as well as attempting to kill their 8-year-old son back in 2018. The murderers were back in 2018, and now he's representing himself during the trial. O'Neill claimed the government distorted evidence and falsified a 911 call. With the death penalty now in play, the judge has strongly urged O'Neill to get a lawyer for today's sentencing. Democrats are suffering defeat this morning after failing to get 60 votes on the election and voting bill.
Issue is about the preservation and the protection of the democracy itself.
The vote split along party lines with a 50-50 tally. Democrats' push for the election bill came from the dozen of voting restriction laws passed in state legislators since the 2020 election. The party says the bill will help with voting rights. States have limited vote by mail, made voting time shorter, and some have added identification requirements. In total, 14 states have passed 22 voting laws. Republicans have argued that states have the right to govern their elections. Home prices are still on the rise, but for the first time this summer, the number of house sales is falling. Since May of 2020, there has been a 24% price hike in the country. The rise in house costs comes at the same time as house sales are falling. Last May marks the 111th consecutive month that prices increase year over year. The Midwest is the only region which has had a rise in sales in May. Up, up, and away. NASA's unique way of discovering the mysteries of Venus without actually landing on its surface. That's still ahead, and so is the story.
I was very apprehensive coming out here. I had gotten my vaccine, but I wasn't sure if it was safe.
The heart of Miami. Food trucks booming with business as COVID restrictions are relaxing. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
It's all of our responsibility to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. You can still use your outdoor spaces like yards and decks. It's also okay to go for a walk or exercise outside. Wear a cloth face covering, stay at least 6 feet away from other people, try not to touch any surfaces, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Local, flavorful food trucks bringing a variety of cuisines to the Brickell community with fewer COVID guidelines. Customers can now enjoy a maskless bite while contributing to the boom in the food industry and supporting local businesses. The network's Alejandra Garcia reports on the lifted restrictions.
Brickell Soul Food Trucks here in the heart of Miami is a great example of how the mask mandate being lifted is benefiting small businesses around the country and increasing sales in the food industry as well.
I'm very glad that the CDC has lifted the mask mandate for vaccinated people outdoor, because I was very apprehensive of coming out here. I had gotten my vaccine, but I wasn't sure if it was safe. I had gotten my vaccine, but I wasn't sure if it was safe. So I'm very glad that, the mandate was lifted, and that sort of gave me the confidence to come out here. And it's such a nice place. It's a waterfront place, and there's so many choices to eat, and it's really good food, and it's really like and seeing people, it's a very like Miami style.
Brickell Soul Food Trucks is not only a place where you can eat a variety of cuisines, but it is also part of the food business that has struggled financially throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. But as we reach an end of the COVID-19 health crisis due to the mass vaccinations going on across the country, the food industry is slowly but surely making a comeback.
Ever since COVID regulations lifted and masks are mandatory, food traffic has increased a lot, and a lot of people have been coming during the day, during the night. I think everything's going back to normal.
After President Joe Biden's administration declared vaccinated people are largely free to go maskless, Brickell Soul Food Trucks are seeing a customer growth and activity around the shopping plaza. For the South Florida Media Network, I'm Alejandra Garcia.
A new technology may be able to help scientists unlock the secrets of Venus. NASA and the California Institute of Technology have developed a balloon that's able to detect earthquakes from the air. Scientists hope this technique can be used to analyze other planets without even landing on the surface. This floating balloon can help advance understanding of our neighbor Venus from miles away. That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Zitlali Solache. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.